The Politics program is brought to you, as always, by your kind contributions at patreon.com/JURY. Head on over there right now and continue to be the most supportive, amazing people on the planet. I let everybody know that this politics expansion, our westward expansion from 1 day a week to 3 days a week, is happening. Obviously, I'm doing the show on a Wednesday. I don't normally do it on a Wednesday, but something that I might not have made clear to everybody who supports this show is that no matter how many shows I do on politics, they are always free. You only, on the Patreon, pay for episodes of my one mic show, Jury. So I could do these 5 days a week. I could do 2 of them a day, and it would be the same thing. You would only pay for the one Jury episode, and all that would change is the value that you get. So go ahead and join everybody who is enjoying the best value on the planet. 451 patrons at the tune of an amount of money that is just really, really almost embarrassing to me. So head on over there right now. Patreon.com/JURY. You only get charged once a week for now 4 hours of programming. But speaking of one of those hours, what do you say we stop talking about it and actually do it?
Politics.
Politics. Welcome, everybody. We are now only 69 days away from Election Day. My name is Justin Robert Young. This is the Politics program. Wait, how many days? How many days do we have until the election? How many days could it be? 69. So much can happen, baby. These polls keep going up and down. 69. All right, that's enough. All right, so 69 days until the election. There is a lot going on. I am right now in a flying squirrel onesie. That is for a couple of reasons. Number one, this was gifted to me, maybe entrusted to me by a friend that I made out there in Cleveland and Philadelphia for the various different the various different conventions, the Republican convention, the Democratic convention. She is now, I guess, once and current, the DC chief for Marketplace, NPR, or Public Radio's Marketplace. I know there's like a turf war thing. I don't know the exact nomenclature. Her name is Andrea Seabrook. You can follow her at Radio Babe on Twitter. In fact, if everybody wants to let her know that her flying squirrel onesie looks mega, mega dope right now on the Politics program, then feel free to. But this is also kind of a celebration because I am packing up tonight and tomorrow morning to get out of here for a couple days. We are, my wife and I are going down to Atlanta, Georgia for DragonCon. This is a trip that we have made. I think she's made for 8 years now. I've made for 7 years now. And we are going to be doing not only our Night Attack show, which is always a huge, gigantic show. Hundreds of people come out and see us every year, which is very, very flattering and amazing. But for the first time ever, we will be doing an episode of Politics live at DragonCon. That is going to be Saturday at 4 p.m. in room 202 in the Hilton. So if you like what I do, then what I would suggest you do, if you had no idea that any of this was happening, is to get a one-day pass for DragonCon on Saturday. That way you're able to see Politicsx. You're able to see the Night Attack show, which will happen later that night at 10 p.m. But otherwise, I would highly recommend getting 3-day passes. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's tons of stuff to do. A lot of our Diamond Club community is going to be there. I could not recommend it highly enough. But again, Politicsx is going to be Saturday at 4 p.m., location 202. Real quick housekeeping. I know I just started doing the 3-day-a-week format, but we are going to shift it a little bit. The Saturday show that we are going to be recording will be representing our Friday show. So there won't be a show on Friday and then another on Saturday. We are going to do the Saturday show as the Friday show, and then we're going to take Monday off for Labor Day. Good? Great? Grand? Wonderful. I think that's it for the plugs. Thank you guys for everything, and I'm looking forward to seeing so many of you at DragonCon in but a few hours. But let's go ahead and start off with the big news of the day. Donald Trump is going to give a major immigration speech in Phoenix. What? We're just getting, I'm getting here in my Flying Squirrel onesie. Okay. Really? Okay. So Donald Trump is going to go to Phoenix eventually tonight, give a major immigration speech. This is kind of a big deal for him since he seems to have been a little flippity-floppity on where he is exactly on immigration. As you might remember, Donald Trump's campaign, really his first day as an announced candidate for president in the Republican primary, began in the lobby of Trump Tower, wherein he said that Mexico is not sending its best people when they stream across our borders, and very often they are rapists and murderers. He has used the country of Mexico as quite a political football. He created his entire persona as the guy who's a hardliner on immigration. He's got a call and response like he's 2 Live Crew for his stump speeches, wherein he talks about, and we're gonna build and then everybody screams, whoa! But now he seems to be flipping and flopping. So this is a huge speech. You would think that he would want to make today, without a doubt, only focused on this speech. He wants all the lead up to it to be talking about the speech, all the talk afterward to be about the speech. He wants this to be speech, speech, speech. But we're not talking about the speech. Like, I'm talking about the speech right now to set up the fact that we're not talking about the speech. This is not about the speech. This is about Donald Trump heading down Mexico way. Ladies and gentlemen, as I talk to you right now, Donald Trump is either en route or landed in our neighbor to the south, Viva la Mexico, the home of El Tri. It is Donald Trump's first visit on foreign soil with a foreign leader since he has announced his candidacy for president. He's going to meet with the president of Mexico, who is deeply unpopular, but for whatever reason, made an invitation to both Trump and Hillary Clinton. And Trump, apparently over the last 48 hours, decided to take him up on that, and more specifically, to pair it with today's speech. So what is he going to do? In fact, I've got 3 big questions. Listen, I'm a real serious political pundit. A lot of people might think that I'm not. I mean, listen, there is the fact that I am, if politics is a circus, I am trying to carve out my niche as the rodeo clown who deals drugs in the parking lot after the show's over. So with that, I've got 3 big questions that we need to ask about this trip. Here's the first one. What? Again, here's our first question. What? If you haven't heard, here's our first question. What? I mean, the answer to that is the president of Mexico offered to meet with either of them. And the Trump campaign, as I'm sure we're going to see in this speech later tonight, needs a reframing. If you are to take what they've done so far and draw that energy out until election day, more specifically, take it the 69 days, then he'll lose. I mean, he's losing now. It's tightened a little bit since the convention kind of exploded things a little bit. But right now, he's losing, and he's losing in key states. And he's also losing in states that he needs to win. Specifically, there was a poll that came out that had Hillary Clinton ahead in Arizona, Hillary Clinton ahead in Nevada, Hillary Clinton ahead in Colorado. These are all close, but Hillary does not need to win those. Trump needs to win those. Republican favorable states in the West, he's not great at, and part of the reason why is because, number one, they are not the Rust Belt electorate for which is predisposed to him, and number two, he's done horrifyingly with Latinos and Latinas, the Hispanic community, Mexicans specifically. Now, what does Arizona, Colorado, Nevada have a lot of? Mexicans. Listen, all you got to do is ask Floyd Mayweather how many Mexicans are in Arizona, Colorado, and Nevada. You want to know why? Because Floyd Mayweather makes a point on Cinco de Mayo to fight a Mexican fighter every year for the past 7 or 8 years. This is a regional hotspot, and Donald Trump needs to speak to them in a different way if he is going to win. So that's the answer to our first question, which, in case you forgot, is what? Here's our second question. Huh? And here's the answer to that. I mean, honestly, if you understand the problem that you need to reframe yourself, how can you do it? How can you reframe your image and look presidential? Well, the Mexican president decided to make this offer. They obviously turned this thing around quickly because there's reporting coming out of the U.S. Embassy that's saying that the U.S. Embassy was like, can we not do this right now? Like, to put this together on like 12 hours notice is a major issue because Donald Trump is not just a guy now. Donald Trump is somebody that has security detail that gets intelligence briefings. You know, he is at an elevated level of guyness. He can't just go wherever he wants. He's probably got to have somebody pick up his KFC so they can put it on a plane so he can eat it with a fork and a knife. But let's go back to 2008. And I know that this is going to be a comparison that will do nobody any favors and nobody will be pleased with. But just indulge me here. In 2008, part of the biggest issue with Barack Obama running for president was that he was untested. He'd spent about 30 seconds in the Senate. Prior to that, there was a lot of hay made about the fact that he listed most of his experience as a community organizer as a reason why he should be president. So what did he do? He went on his own little European tour because he knew he was popular as an alternative to George Bush in a lot of European states. So he could get big crowds. It could be a big news story. All the press would get to go to various European locales. And more importantly, watching him shake hands with people in power would make him look more presidential. And when he didn't exactly have a ton of photo ops of him meeting world leaders as a senator, this filled that gap for the moment. Because again, everything that is done from now until Election Day. Wait a minute. How long is Election Day from now? is done to make sure that on election day, people are remembering what you were doing. These are sugar highs. Okay, these are not long-lasting changes. No one's pretending that you are having a tremendous change of heart. No one's pretending that you are any different today than yesterday. What is different is that you might look different. And hopefully people remember how you look when they go to the polls. So Donald Trump has two major issues. People think that he can't make up the divides that he blew up when he was running for the primary, either inside the Republican Party or with the demographics whose bridges he's burnt. And he's not presidential. He's not fit to be president. So it is in his best interest to go down to Mexico and have a private meeting with the president and have it come out very cordial. Have it come out very nice. Have him come back to Phoenix where he gives his gigantic immigration speech and say, I've spoken with the president and we share the same values. We might disagree on the solutions, but I will guarantee you that I will lead us boldly into the future because we need to solve this problem. And I expressed our side, the people's side of the situation to him. And if you really want to embellish it a little bit, you can say, and he was surprised at what the people think. And I explained to him the heart and the will of the people, not as a politician, but as somebody who really knows your feelings. That makes him look like he's a bridge builder, not necessarily a wall builder. Makes him look like a president, like a diplomat. And it puts to bed a little bit of the criticism that the Hillary Clinton campaign has been very, very effective at propagating, which is that if he were elected, that world leaders might not even want to deal with him. Him being able to show up and have a meeting is important. Which leads us to our third question. Why? You seen these polls, dog? I mean, the question isn't why, it's why not. You gotta do something. Because the person who's running his campaign now, Kellyanne Conway, is a polls person. She ran her own polling company. She knows the demographic problems, and they are an albatross around his neck. And if he does not work to better his situation, then he's only going to have a larger and larger problem. So what are the risks? Well, there is one very specific way that this thing can blow up. And it is glaringly obvious, and it is a huge, huge liability if it happens. And that's if the president of Mexico, before Donald Trump can even touch down, either on the record or via reports, starts talking mad noise. If there are reports that come out that begin leaking out of the Mexican president's office or people around him that say that Donald Trump's a clown, that he's a buffoon, that he embarrassed himself, that he made unreasonable demands, that he was mean, that he was not presidential, then now all of a sudden you have not only created another gigantic headache from yourself and given Hillary Clinton racks on racks on racks of opposition stuff to run back at you, but you've completely blown your message-controlled evening out of the water. You overstretched. You got overambitious. What I'm saying to you, dear listeners and viewers, is that right now, the political future of Donald Trump is being voluntarily entrusted in Mexican hands. What a country! What an election! How amazing is this? That the guy who's built his campaign criticizing Mexico is now saying, hey, do me a favor. Can you please just not talk mad crap about me? I know I'm running all up in your house on 12 hours notice, and this is fairly clearly more about me than it is about Mexico, but just do me a favor and don't like say mean things about me. I'd like it if you didn't say mean things about me because it would really hurt my campaign. I don't want anybody to say anything mean because specifically if you call me unpresidential, then it's going to be a problem. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? That's a commercial that writes itself. Especially if there's some quotable thing that comes out of it. Or the Mexican president goes on the record and talks about the fact that he's a butt. The Mexican president says Donald Trump is a butt. Like, that's just right there. There's something else that I do want to bring up because we've kind of teased around it, and I've mentioned it a couple times on the show. But now that we are in the new era of politics. There's a couple old bits. I know we got a bunch of new listeners, so thank you guys for joining us. I want to introduce some new things, and I want to take this one seriously because we got some we got some amazing new numbers. We got some amazing new numbers about the unfavorable ratings for both Trump and Hillary. So here we go. Hillary Clinton's polls now at a historic high unfavorability, on par with Donald Trump's, and easily the highest that it has been for her. Among adults, 56% now view Clinton unfavorably, up 6 percentage points in 3 weeks, compared to 63% who say the same about Donald Trump. Now, I am but a humble graduate of a Florida public school. But even I know my math is good enough to know that that's pretty high. In fact, that is 119%, right? Yeah, 119% if you combine both of them. Which means that we have again as a possibility the race to 150%. Yes, 150%. That is if both candidates get over, or one makes up for the other one, gets over 75% unfavorables. 3/4 of the country dislikes both of the candidates, or maybe, one would be higher than the other, most likely. I believe, and this is my belief, and granted, I'm just a man in a flying squirrel costume. I believe that we should be able to redo the election. Not like the full election, just from wherever that gong hits, right? Wherever 150 is reached, both parties have to get new candidates immediately. And they only have as many days until Election Day. Election Day is still Election Day. This thing could happen the day before Election Day, and the parties would have to scramble and find new candidates within 48 hours. And one of those people would be the president. That's my thought. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because, I don't have the kind of sway with the Republicans and the Democrats for them to think that this is a good idea. However, I do believe that us together right now, watching and listening to this show, can set another goal. You ever notice how, at basketball games, that if the home team scores over 100, everybody gets a free taco or a free slice of pizza, something like that? I believe that we can pressure a corporate sponsor, specifically something in the fast food realm, to give America a free piece of food if one of these polls, and we can select out the polls the way that they do for the debate committee, where they're trying to determine whether or not it's 15%. I believe America should get something if both candidates go over a combined 150% unfavorable. That's what I'm saying. I think that Arby's should give us a free sandwich if both of our choices from major parties for president go over 150% unfavorable. I believe that we should get a free taco from Taco Bell. In fact, I'm not looking for just one corporate sponsorship. I am looking for any and everybody who wants to get in on this coalition. I believe that they should all be able to give us one free thing if we get a 150% unfavorable rating. But Justin, that just encourages people to say things in polls that they don't necessarily mean because they want to get a free taco. Does it? Does it? If you can be swayed in your opinion on somebody who is going to run the country on the basis of a $1.50 taco, that's really going to be what we're talking about? Come on. If you can be swayed that somebody who you believe is fit to hold the Oval Office and have their finger on the button, if you can be swayed off that with a $1.50 taco or a roast beef sandwich, then I don't know exactly how much you thought that person should be in the White House. I think this is an important thing. The chase to 150. I'm going to spend the rest of this run of this show, the rest of Politics until Election Day, which, by the way, takes place in 69 days. I'm going to tweet Taco Bell and Arby's to find out which of them will sponsor this. We need to do this together. We need to make this happen. We need the chase to 150% to be a reality, and I believe that we can do it. I believe in you, America. I believe that your distaste for both of these candidates is enough to earn you a free taco or a roast beef sandwich. I believe that. I also believe that everybody should head on over to thecontender.us and go ahead and pick up my card game. It's super great if you like games like Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples or Super Fight. Really, really fun card games like that, then you should go ahead and check out The Contender. It is thecontender.us. You are up on stage at a big televised presidential debate like the ones that are coming up right now between Clinton and Trump. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And you are able to debate topics like women and income inequality and freedom with real talking points based on real quotes made by presidential candidates and presidents. It is a super, super, super fun time. We have a 5-star rating on Amazon. Go ahead and check out what the fuss is all about. Thecontender.us. Our base box is 500 cards, good enough for family fun. And we got our politically incorrect pack if you want to get a little saucy and take it to the bar. Thecontender.us. And buy stickers or DIAF. Go ahead and pick up our sticker packs. It is $5. We ship all over the world. 7 vinyl stickers that are indoor, outdoor for only $5. Also, if you are coming to Dragon Con, you're going to want to be able to get our exclusive stickers or DIAF stock up sticker pack. These are going to be $10, but they're going to come with 15 stickers. And man, it's going to be super rad. We got 5 exclusive stickers for Dragon Con, and then a mix and match of all the stickers that we've done, including a few of them that are now out of print, like our Politics album art sticker. That is in the stock up sticker pack. So go ahead and find us on Dragon Con, or find us at Dragon Con during the show. Again, that is 4 p.m. on Saturday, Hilton 202. Or we're going to have a table. I don't know where it is, but we will be in touch. Follow me on Twitter at Justin R. Young. Or if you're not going to be there, you just want the stickers anyway, head on over to Stickers or DIAF for your stickers. man, I think they look really, really good, and I'm really excited. We make them $5, so you don't have to think twice. Check them out. Stickers or DIAF. Let's talk about these debates. Speaking of the contender, let's talk about the debates. There's been a lot made before this whole down a Mexico way situation happened for Trump. The big story in a lot of the reporting is the debate prep going on between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and specifically how different they are. Hillary Clinton, unsurprisingly, very, very, very excited to drill into all the policy positions. She is running back mock debates with various different people. She is getting prepared and excited for what will be, in her mind, her star turn in turning back Donald Trump and strategically stopping Donald Trump from reintroducing himself yet again to the nation. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has decided that he's just kind of going to wing it. He's just kind of going to be a guy. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the week, but let's focus on Hillary here because there were a few great articles. This one is by Patrick Healy and Matt Fleschenheimer of the New York Times. There's also a great one by Robert Costas of the Washington Post. Each have slightly different reporting, but they basically get to a lot of the same points. But this New York Times one faces a lot, or spends a lot of time talking about Hillary Clinton as what I am going to deem her, the cerebral assassin. It's time to play the game. Look at that. You can just see her with a sledgehammer in her hand. She apparently has been recruiting people that are designed to get under Donald Trump's skin. Hillary Clinton's advisors are talking to Donald J. Trump's ghostwriter of The Art of the Deal, seeking insights about Mr. Trump's deepest insecurities as they devise strategy to needle and undermine him in 4 weeks at the first presidential debate, the most anticipated in a generation. They want him to crack. They want him to say something that nobody will ever forget. They want him to create the best contender card in history. If you're not familiar with the way the contender cards work, we've got our real quote of what they said, and then our version of it so it's more conversational, so we could balance out the decks and you could play these cards back and forth with each other like you were actually having a debate. But the best cards require no translation. Ronald Reagan's There You Go Again, no translation necessary. Al Gore's Sigh, no translation necessary. Hillary Clinton wants Donald Trump to utter the most memorable debate gaffe in history. And that is what she is not only doing, but her aides are leaking to the press they are doing. Because I'll guarantee you, there's plenty of that debate prep that they're not talking to the press about. Specifically, who is playing Donald Trump, which right now is a mystery. Although apparently among the suggestions were James Carville and Mark Cuban, both of which I would pay to see them debate Hillary Clinton. I mean, if they're not going to do that, like to help her, can you please do it on pay-per-view? Do it for the kids. Come on. But I kind of wonder whether or not this you bring a knife, we bring a gun kind of narrative is good for Hillary. If anything, it's certainly, them acknowledging that this is probably going to be something ugly is a little strange for me. Because that's not what she's at. Right now, here's what it seems to me. Here's the lay of the land of this election. Best I can tell. And again, I'm wearing a squirrel costume, so take this as you will. But the way I see it, Hillary Clinton is at her best when she seems the most presidential. Donald Trump is at his worst when he seems most Donald Trumpian. So if I were Hillary, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for him to get really hot and bothered. I would think that him just looking unprepared would be the best medicine. You just need to be austere. You need to be prepared. You need to be presidential. You would fairly reliably bank on the fact that Donald Trump can only win this election or these debates, for however much debates really, really matter for an election, if Donald Trump gets blood out of her. If he makes her somebody that is being dragged down to the gutter. Because look at Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio, the final nail in his coffin was him going to Donald Trump's got a small wiener jokes. As soon as he got down and dirty, he was over. Now, there were plenty of other reasons why it was over for him already. But it's the thing that he immediately said he regretted. So, do you really want to bring up personal things, hoping that he'll react poorly to it? Because he might. But you might also look petty. And it seems like it's a risky idea to really get into a knife or a gunfight with Donald Trump. Because that's kind of his thing. He loves that. He would love it if they were going back and forth about personal insults. Because Donald Trump has said he does not necessarily want to bring up Hillary Clinton's past, including Bill Clinton's infidelities. But he will if she makes it dirty. I mean, that's the most, like, unless you're going to do it, that he can probably say that, right? Like, I'm not going to bring up the fact that your husband is apparently a serial philanderer. Unless you're hitting me first. And I am totally subjective about deciding when you are being unfair or mean. Which means that I am almost certainly bringing these kinds of things up. And if that's the case, you don't necessarily want it to be both of these people were going back and forth with each other. Now, here's the other theory, that the reason why we are reading about this is because the Clinton campaign wants us to read about this, and they want the Trump campaign to think that this is going to be a bare-knuckle brawl, because they want big old Irish up Donald Trump swinging haymakers from the first bell. So Hillary Clinton can just kind of stand there like a wise statue and just like orate. Because I don't know if cerebral assassin works for her right now. I don't know if even if she does get Donald Trump to crack, whether or not she gets credit for that. And you can factor in, and I'm not saying this dismissively. You can factor in however you want to do the gender stuff, where like a woman being mean is different than a man being mean, yada yada yada. You know, the whole bitch first leader dichotomy. Like, factor that in too. Throw whatever math you have in there. It just seems like a riskier proposition. Hey everybody, you can email us justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Again, that is Justin Robert Young with Gmail. Or sorry, I got the email wrong. What an idiot I am. It is TheYoungAmerican@gmail.com. That is TheYoungAmerican@gmail.com. We got a new email address. It used to be my personal one. Now we are using TheYoungAmerican@gmail.com. Send in your emails. We need a lot of them because we are doing a lot of these. And I need you guys to react to what I am saying so we can fill this entire back segment. Jose writes, I share the show with my college national government class. Yes! Excellent. Spread the word, man. Remember, rate, review, and subscribe this show. It is tremendously helpful. There is a lot of very, very austere podcasts that are dominating the political space. You got a lot of reporters, a lot of pollsters, a lot of really, really serious people who are doing serious business. I really, really, really respect them, and I loved all of them. But ain't none of them in a flying squirrel outfit. None of them are for the circus of politics, the rodeo clown dealing drugs in the parking lot. That is a me, Mario. So thank you so much for sharing this with your college national government class, and stay away from rodeo clowns. Ned writes, as an Australian that lives under a completely different political system, I find it really weird that all the press acts like the U.S. has a two-party system, or a one-party system as the case may be. That just seems weird to me. How are people free to make a choice if they only get to choose between two of several options? What makes it worse is how the presidential debate is run by a coalition of the two major parties. That's two private clubs determining who gets to play the game. I mean, WTF. During our recent election, I thought it was bad enough that the first debate was going to be held on cable TV rather than a free-to-air channel. It is at its best a conflict of interest in the highest order, and at worst, election rigging, in my opinion. Every person running for president of the United States deserves an equal platform, even if that person is vermin supreme. I mean, how can people make an informed choice if the people are not actually informed about the choice? Vote for who you actually want to run the country, not who you think can win. It's the moral thing to do. A lot of this is cultural, Ned. We cover as a block of press the people that are most likely to win because it is justified that they are the most newsworthy. When you talk about everybody should have a chance, the question is, well, who's obligated to cover them? Because I'm sure that there has been coverage. There's certainly been a lot more coverage than there normally are of Gary Johnson and Jill Stein. They are making regular polls. They are names that are out there comparatively to other elections, save for outliers like Ralph Nader in 2000 or Ross Perot in 1992. There is a lot of chatter about third-party candidates right now. But there are serious questions on exactly what is enough coverage, and if you are going to agree that things need to be covered proportionally, i.e. the candidates with the greater likelihood of winning by polls should be covered more, at what point does that become a de facto endorsement of a two-party system? The fact of the matter is that America has a two-party system because America wants a two-party system. If America bucked a two-party system, then we wouldn't have one anymore, or at least in the way that we think of one. The vast majority of the American electorate aligns themselves politically with red shirts or blue shirts. And until that changes, then America will cover them as such. But hey, man, I understand what you're talking about, Ned. Although, Australians, man, always trying to tell us what to do. How your elections are weird. That's not a knife. It's always something with you people. Joseph writes, there's a lot of talk about job protection and really protectionism. My chosen career field has some of those problems too with foreign groups, but I've always felt like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm a union guy. I give to a PAC group each month, and our PAC tries to protect our jobs from competition. This cycle, I've seen more crying and yelling about job protection for Americans than ever. The same people, I might add, who were against the anti-free market protections 8 years ago. Is this the 1970s? Are the Republicans turning to the Democrats and the Democrats turning into Republicans? Is protectionism a thing now and I'm just not hearing about it? No, man, protectionism is back in a big way. And this is certainly a lot of the root of Donald Trump's appeal into the Rust Belt is, I forget who it was. I think it was one of the Daily Dot guys that was talking about how if you want to understand Trump love in the Rust Belt, then go watch the video of the carrier executives telling the members of the plant that they were all getting fired and they were moving the plant to Mexico. I should really know the name of this video. I'll try to find it. But effectively, there is this larger idea. And as much as I don't like to compare things in America to Brexit. I think there is one general idea that is in line, and that is that power is moving farther away from us. That if you are one of those voters, if you are somebody who's getting laid off, that you are hearing a lot of people justify, well, yeah, you lost your job, but largely the economy's better, and largely everything's going to be cheaper, and largely whenever you find another job, these goods will be more affordable to you. So ultimately, sure, it sucks you lost your job and this plant's moving to Mexico, but ultimately the powers that be, for which you have less and less control over, have decided that that's just best for business. And that is frustrating to people. That is something that is touches a nerve. And so that was part of the Brexit thing, was that the EU was not functioning correctly, and it was further and further from them. They couldn't just vote somebody out and have it be better. They had to vote somebody out who swore that they were going to vote somebody else out, who swore that they were going to bring it up at a committee, and then really, really make friends with other countries. And when you talk about protectionism and you talk about nativism, I think that's part of the root cause of it. I may be wrong, but that's my guess. So yeah, in that way, you are seeing a Republican candidate that's traditionally less global business than Republican candidates normally are. And you're seeing a Democratic candidate who is ganking everything left on the table from the Republicans. And we are going to get into that during the show at DragonCon on Saturday. Speaking of that, one more time, at DragonCon, 4 p.m. at the Hilton, room 202. No show Friday. There will be a show Saturday. We will hopefully try to live stream it, and it'll be up in the podcast feed that evening. If you would like to email us, it is TheYoungAmerican@gmail.com. Again, TheYoungAmerican@gmail.com. You can buy The Contender at thecontender.us. Music provided by Valesco and Trop Killers. Also, Incompetech is an amazing site. We've used a bunch of those stingers. And you can follow me everywhere at Justin R. Young. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Keep giving me the British FU on Snapchat. I've loved sending those back to people. Remember, folks, some shows talk about politics. Others talk about politics. This is the only show that really talks about politics in a squirrel suit. I will see you guys at DragonCon! Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.